I do. I travel with spare Ziploc bags, and I travel with a spare set of chopsticks.
Of course you do.
So she's putting on her goggles and a bowler hat. She checks her pocket watch, adjusts her rocket back. She laces up her boots and puts her makeup on. She grabs her leather coat and her Tesla gun. Well, she used to be a goth kid, now she's a state.
Hello there. I'm Gail Carriger.
And I'm Piper J. Drake,
And you're listening to 20-Minute Delay.
a podcast about travel.
Because travel never goes how you expect. Neither does
And today-
podcasting.
No, apparently not, but that's okay. We're learning.
All right. So,
Today we'll be talking about the Burrito Protocol.
yes, that's my word, Burrito Protocol. Basically, this is code for what you choose to eat when you're traveling. And we're going to focus on the meals that you eat when you travel because we have a whole other episode coming about snacks, although we'll touch on them as well in this episode. But first, where have you been this week, Piper? I think I know.
I might have flown to San Francisco
And why did you do that?
to visit you predominantly and also to get a feel for the city and the area.
Yay! I'm so excited. It was awesome. It was really awesome. In fact, just so to let you guys in on a little secret, this podcast came into being because Piper came to visit me. So all good things come out of Piper visiting me in San Francisco.
Yay! It was an amazing, amazing trip, honestly.
All right. So why don't you tell me what happened and tell me what went wrong, because that's always the exciting bit. Something always goes wrong when you travel, right?
It does. It does. San Francisco is pretty awesome. Now, for those of you who've never been, the airport is a bit of a ways from downtown and the city. So you do have to plan to either take the BART, mass transit in, or catch a cab, Uber, Lyft type car service or rent a car to get in there.
The airport isn't in San Francisco at all in classic airport fashion. It's actually in Daly City. So, and I will say that it has, for my money and in my experience at least, some of the least useful and favorable airport hotels and convention centers of any major airport. So I actually think the San Jose airport, which is a much, much smaller airport, has much better hotels and a way better convention center. So there it is, the downside of SFO. But
yeah,
so,
I will back that up. The overnight the overnight hotels in the area, not that great. I've done them for day job as well as the occasional emergency evening stop. But going into downtown San Francisco is always lovely. And there's a plethora of hotels, whether you like major chains, whether you like economy style hotels, whether you like boutique hotels. San Francisco's got them.
Yeah, there's even one called Hotel Rex, which has a library bar. If you're if you're on our side of things in terms of loving the books and reading and writing.
Absolutely. I actually chose for this trip, I chose the San Francisco Marriott Marquis in downtown for two really odd reasons. One, I was going to be working day job on one or two of the days when we first got here, and Matthew J. Drake was going to be wandering around the city. So I wanted him to have a really cool area to wander around. And also it's right around the corner from a plot bunny for me. And that's a phrase I use when there's something somewhere in my travels that really triggers a story element that I want to use someday. And at 555 Mission Street, there's a set of statues in a little courtyard. And they're very unsettling statues. I think they're called the Moonrise Sculptures. Oh, goodness, I'll put them in the show notes for you. But I saw them years ago when I first started working for one of my day job clients. And I keep coming back to them. And I'm going to put those in an urban fantasy. They're unsettling and they're awesome and they're fun. So I always go back there to check them out whenever I'm in San Francisco.
I love pilgrimages. I mean, I love things that when it's a city you return to regularly, places you always go. One of my pilgrimages is in London. I used to have family there. I still do, but I don't get back as often as I did when my grandparents were alive. And one of my pilgrimages in London is always to the original Twinings tea shop, which has been in the place that it is since the 1700s. And I just like to go and visit. And then the other thing I always do is I go to Fortnum and Mason's and have high tea there, if I can fit it into my schedule. And that's a tradition that my mother used to have when she was a little girl and she lived in London, and they called Fortnum and Mason's tum-tums. So those are so London is one of my sort of pilgrimage cities. One of my favorite things in San Francisco in the Mission is actually Borderlands bookstore. And when I'm in the city, I don't live in the downtown area of San Francisco. I live in the Greater Bay Area, but when I'm in the city, I always try to go and visit this bookstore. It's got a nice little cafe attached to it, and I just have a lot of affection for them. I really like the Mission area. It has changed a lot over the past 15 to 20 years. It used to be the only area I spent any time in San Francisco was Haight Street, because that's where all the shopping is.
Yay. No, one more fun fact about the San Francisco spot is that those sculptures are at 555 Mission, I mentioned. And for those of you who speak other languages, you may have fun with this. We all have different instant messaging speak. So when you laugh out loud here in the US, or you're laughing at something, you say LOL. Well, in Thailand, you say 555 because the number 5 in Thai is ha. So if you say 55 in a row, ha ha ha.
Oh, I love that. That's so neat.
I took a little picture of that and sent it to my dad, because whenever we use the Line app to keep in touch via instant messaging. And I took a picture next to the street sign saying ha ha ha, and he just lost it. And he just sent me 3 lines of 5s.
That's so cool. I love that. What a cool story. Anything else particularly unusual or fabulous strike you in this trip to San Francisco?
Oh, I don't know. Visiting you and the entire visit in general was just amazeballs.
Any food that is endemic to San Francisco that you have to get when you visit?
I have to say, when we first landed, I was super, super tired, and my stomach was not looking for a huge meal, but I wanted something warm and comforting. And so literally just in the restaurant in our hotel, they had a San Francisco chowder, not to be mistaken for New England clam chowder.
Interesting.
And that has a particularly different taste. And it was served in a San Francisco sourdough bread bowl.
That is our food.
San Francisco sourdough, yes, is totally different. So that was perfect for me. So I had a nice big cup of chowder.
Well, that actually leads us really nicely into our main topic of discussion. I call it the burrito protocol. And so that is the food that you travel with. So I don't know about you, Piper, but my favorite travel food is a burrito. I know this is a hot topic because there are many, and I do understand this, who really object to people eating food that they have brought on flights because of the smell. And if you've sat next to someone who decides that a tuna sandwich is a great thing to bring on a flight, you can kind of understand this feeling.
Absolutely.
However, some of us are a little bit on the hypoglycemic end of things and have to eat.
Like both of us. We cannot survive a flight that's more than 2 to 3 hours long
without food.
Something to eat. Yeah, and it should be
food.
Protein.
Exactly. Have to have food, have to have protein. I'm sorry to my apologies to everybody who's ever flown with me when I have whipped out that burrito, because that's what I do. I always travel with a burrito. It's usually a high protein, so it has both chicken and beans in it and some vegetables and not a lot of rice. I found that they keep really well, and I have a special little container I keep it in. That'll be my gadget pick this week. And so mine is a burrito. I've graduated from the chicken burrito to my local joint does a chili relleno burrito, which is the most exciting thing in the universe because it has egg in it and cheese. And that makes me so happy. So that is the burrito that I fly with. And I always make time the day before I fly, if I have a morning flight, or the morning before I fly, to run and pick up a burrito and bring that with me on a flight. And I call it the burrito protocol because for me, it does not matter where I am going. If I'm going anywhere for longer than a couple of days, I take that burrito with me. I just have been stranded too many times at airports where the airport is shut down, there's no food, and I just need that emergency protein. But what we talked about a little bit before this episode was the fact that you also like to grab food at the airport. So I tend to try to avoid that as much as possible. So what is it that you tend to seek out when you're thinking about what you're going to take on a flight with you?
I'm spoiled because right now my home airport is Phoenix International, which means burritos galore. So I have a machaca burrito that I pick up, and I know exactly which terminal it's in. I run down there, I pick it up, and they have a machaca breakfast burrito. So I get machaca beef with egg and a little bit of cheese. I try to stay away from the beans just so people don't have to deal with the side effect of beans on a plane, right? and that's my burrito. And it's actually kind of monstrous. And I usually forego the salsa that they always give you with it because, yes, while it can enhance the taste and give it a pop and everything, it's messy, has a potential to spill. And the onions, it's pretty onion heavy, and I'm trying to stay away from the smell of that for my fellow passengers.
And your own breath. Yeah, just avoid the onions. That's a very good point.
And honestly, onions can be a little bit on your GI for the gas thing too.
That's
like there's
true.
Beans and there's onions.
That's true. And if I'm thinking about it and I'm on point, sometimes I will put a little baggie of pickled jalapeno peppers in with my burrito, and then I can put one on each bite. And I also like
to give yourself a burst of flavor.
Exactly. And I also like taking pickled things with me when I travel because of the electrolytes. I maybe it's a placebo effect, but I do feel like it wakes up my brain if I have that kind of thing.
Now, when I visited you in San Francisco, you guys were kind enough, actually, we kind of assumed I should probably have offered to pay for them, but your wonderful partner, Rob Back from Trader Joe's, the little packets of olives with no brine.
Yes.
And I tried those on my most recent flight, and wow, yes, placebo effect or not, I felt perked up. Yeah. I really, really did feel perked up. And the nice thing about it is that the salt in them, you may think that you should always avoid all salt at all costs, but sometimes having a little bit of salt helps you stay hydrated and actually settles your stomach out so that you're not constantly churning plain water. Mm-hmm. So I think that's super important. Yeah.
I agree.
That's snacks, and we'll talk about that another time when it comes to the main meal.
Yeah, but when the main meal, it's a burrito. However, don't always have that option for a burrito. Sometimes Agreed. I'm flying back, and of course, then I don't, I'm flying back from somewhere that doesn't have Mexican food all too often, sadly. And I tend to go, if I can, for those hummus kits, if I can find them. If there's a newsstand or something that has that, I find those are pretty good because I'm always, again, it's always easy to get carbohydrates when you're traveling. The snack packs and the chips are everywhere, but it's real hard to get vegetables and protein. And so I love that. I eat a lot of vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian, but I do eat a lot of vegetarian, and I like a good hummus dip. What else do I go for? What else do you go for at an airport if you can't get that burrito?
I used to do protein bars a lot, and I don't do your average protein bars because if you look at them, they turn out to be nothing better than almost candy bars.
Oh my God, right? There's so much sugar in most of them. So much sugar.
Exactly. And I just got protein barred out, even the Quest bars, were for a while the ones that worked out because even though there was a lot of sugar, there was a good ratio for protein to make it worth it. But I got protein barred out now. So I'm on a kick where I'm taking a break from protein bars. And I'm very much a hard-boiled egg person.
Oh my God,
and
of course.
I squirrel them away, but they are the perfect meal. They're not just a snack. They can be a meal. And actually, I have a funny story, even though I was just recently in San Francisco. Previously, I talked about having been in Europe on a cruise, and I was with a couple of fellow travelers, and we were all talking about how smart it was to squirrel away a couple of hard-boiled eggs. Well, one of my fellow travelers, she squirreled away a hard-boiled egg from breakfast, just like I did in her backpack, and her partner was so horrified because we'd been told don't bring food from off the ship onto the cruise boat that he made her leave her hard-boiled egg on the coach bus.
Shocking.
And it was just It was so funny, and we were making fun of him so hard about it. Forever after that, we also left on the way off the cruise another hard-boiled egg on the coach bus, and then we found that had kept squirreled away a hard-boiled egg from the cruise ship in the Baltic Sea in my backpack when we were in San Francisco with you. So you may have seen me taking pictures with you of a hard-boiled egg in various places in San Francisco. Because fabulous. I was no longer going to eat that hard-boiled egg, but we wanted to take pictures of its travels before we retired it.
That's great. Yeah, I love a hard-boiled egg. I tend to actually not eat the centers. I just eat the protein, which isn't a huge nutritional value, but it's like the best protein for my body. I found my body just loves that white, hard-boiled egg white. So I eat that
me too.
all the time. I love it. If I can find it at an airport, I love that airport forever. It's rare.
They used to have it more often. They used to have hard-boiled eggs around all the time. And I used to, like you, I don't always eat the yolk.
Yeah.
I eat maybe 1 out of every 3 yolks.
Yeah. I'm always looking for whole milk, too, when I land at an airport in particular, because I'm a tea drinker and I like to drink my own tea on the road and in hotels. So I'm always looking to get whole milk. It used to be easier to find, and now just finding any kind of milk can be a problem, except for like chocolate milk.
All the nope in the world. You can find the yogurt drinks before you can find milk nowadays. But getting that protein. Eggs.
Yeah. And one of my great pieces of advice is that often Starbucks or little cafes in chain hotels, if you're in a hotel that has one of those cafes, they will have hard-boiled eggs, like in a plastic cup, a couple of peeled ones. They're not always the best. Yep. They're sometimes overboiled. In fact, they're often overboiled. But you can pick those up on your way out, checking out of that hotel, and bring it on the flight with you. And I have never regretted it. I've never once regretted bringing either a burrito or a hard-boiled egg with me, even if I've not eaten it. Just the confidence in knowing I've got it there it's
everything. A lifesaver.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can literally be the difference between ending up in the hospital, like off the plane, and that ruins everybody on the plane's day.
Yeah, nobody's happy when you faint. And on that note, let's move on to our gadget picks. Dun da da.
So I've been talking about mostly smaller amounts of food that could also be considered snack size. So I don't really have a gadget here to talk about so much as that I'm always carrying like little baggies or snack packs full of my protein of choice, whether that's a hard-boiled egg, several hard-boiled eggs in a coffee cup, like you said, or in a travel bag, or beef jerky is another one that I use as a protein meal. But what is your gadget pick? I'm actually quite interested to hear how you travel with your burrito.
Oh my gosh. So I'm really serious about the burrito protocol. I actually have one of those zip top lunch bag type things that is exactly the size of a burrito. It's maybe if you squish the burrito a little bit and the bag is kind of, squishy, you can put 2 hard-boiled eggs and then a couple of little baggies of those pickled jalapeno peppers. And in the top of this little baggie, it has a mesh pocket where you can put some napkins and some extra little snack baggies. And I use those little snack baggies for, bits of things I don't eat, like the shell from the hard-boiled egg or something. So I have a little discard baggie as well. And man, I love this thing. I went scouting about the internet to try and find it. I picked mine up at Ross or TJ Maxx or something like that, some discount store. And I found a couple, so I'll put one of those in the show notes that are maybe a little bit bigger than the one I have. But mine is great. It's like got a nice, smooth, easy to clean interior and exterior, and it keeps the burrito perfectly cold. I put it in the freezer the night before, and I pop my burrito in it. I don't put the burrito in the freezer. I just put the baggie in the freezer.
I was going to say, gnawing at a burrito doesn't sound like my idea of fun.
No. So that's mine. Do you travel with spare Ziploc bags when you travel with this in mind, with snacks in mind?
I do. I travel with spare Ziploc bags, and I travel with a spare set of chopsticks.
Of course you do.
How often have you been caught without like a fork or a spoon?
Oh, yeah.
And you end up eating your noodles with your fingers, right? I just never know what I'm going to be trying to eat at the hotel, what I might have had time for. And a lot of times there's just no silverware available. So I'm like, you know what? Easiest thing to do, pair of wood chopsticks.
Yep.
I just grab an extra pair when I'm like at a buffet or whatever. And I just have them slid into the side of my backpack.
Nice. I travel with a little utensil, but that's going to be one of my gadget picks in the future. All right. So there's my recommendation for a gadget, some kind of little small. You want it small and light and easy, insulated bag that you can stick your snack or your burrito in. And on that note,
I would say thank you to producer Matt for producing this podcast.
And thank you to John Emilio, who loaned us the music from his song, Steampunk Girl.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So she's putting on the goggles in the bowler night. She checks her pocket watch just to rock it back. She laces up her boots and puts her makeup on. She grabs her leather coat and a Tesla gun. 'Cause she used to be a goth kid, but now she's a steamer. She used to be a goth kid, but now she's a steamer. She used to be a goth kid,